morning, everybody. My name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Tuesday morning. Good morning. It's a bit nippy this morning. It's a bit colder this morning. I'm sat here in my flat in Rochester, Kent. To everybody that watches my videos, thank you very much. It's most welcome. To my subscribers, thank you. And just thank you all for your support. It helps my channel to grow, and thank you. So guys, I've got up, I got woken up. The guy upstairs has got kids, right? And I understand that, and they go to school, so they get up early. They get up around 6:30, I think, in the morning, which is understandable. I don't mind that. It's just when it's when I'm not feeling too good sometimes, and the children are running and stomping and slamming doors. I've told you before that the place is not soundproof properly, so you can hear everything. I could hear them talking last night in my bedroom. There's a lack of privacy in this building with the soundproofing. It's like paper thin, like a cheap hotel kind of soundproofing, so you can hear everything. So sometimes, yes, I do get pissed off and angry and rant, because if you don't feel well, the last thing you need to hear is what sounds like a load of stomping elephants. I'm not blaming the children. I don't want to shout at children. I'm blaming the situation, right? So last night, yeah, I was a bit heated and a bit annoyed because the soundproofing is downright awful. When you're trying to sit down and do a video and you have got about 3 or 4 kids banging on the ceiling, stomping, screaming, to them it's funny. To a child it's funny, it's hilarious. If they're upsetting somebody and someone's getting cross, it's funny. And I can understand that, but they shouldn't be hearing me doing a YouTube in a normal voice underneath the ceiling, should they? They shouldn't be able to hear me speaking. I haven't got an exceptionally loud voice, so if I can hear them speaking above my bedroom, then they can hear me moving about in my flat and speaking. So I don't blame the children, I blame the soundproofing. It's awful. Right now I'm doing this video and I can hear next door banging near the wall. And they might just be opening their cupboard, they might be just opening their fridge, they might just be, you know, in their bathroom, but I can hear it. It's that poor quality soundproofing. I can hear them turn on their microwave oven next door. And sound travels, as I found out when those kids were in the lift. They were on the ground floor, and every word they were saying was coming up to the first floor. So sound travels, you see. So if someone's got a radio on, it can actually travel up right up to the top floor if it's loud in this building. I've watched a film about it on Netflix. It's supposed to be like some comedy horror type film where this Chinese lad is living in a flat and he can't get to sleep because he's got the same problem, but he can't figure out where the noise is coming from. So a noise can travel up from the ground floor right to the top and vice versa. But I know this is coming from upstairs because it's on my ceiling when I'm doing my videos. When I when I'm on the phone doing a FaceTime call, which I was doing the other day, it was like they were going mental upstairs, running up and down, bang, 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 doors slamming, screaming and shouting. And I've noted it down in my diary when they had a fight up there. And I just said, I want to move out of this place. I can't stand it anymore. It sounded like the ceiling was crashing down. They were having a fight. The kids were having a fight up there. And I've just written down in my diary, I wish I could move. Right now, I've had enough. So at the moment, it's quiet upstairs because they've gone to school, obviously. But sometimes the gentleman upstairs comes home with a child during school. So he brings a school-aged child back home because his children are special needs. Basically, sometimes, not all the time, I have not got any respite from this noise. I haven't got any respite from it at all. He's coming straight back home after dropping the other kids off. And then he comes back with another one, and it's just, I can't bear it. It drives me crazy. And it's the soundproofing is the problem. So last night they got rowdy. Sometimes they're brilliant. There's no noise at all. But last night they were particularly noisy. So I just sat down, started to do a video, and from the corner of my living room, it sounded like one of them was thumping the floor. And that's been going on for a few days now, just continuous thumping, like they're bashing the floor. Bang, 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 whilst I was doing my video yesterday. And I tried to keep going and talking with all this banging going on. It's sometimes absolutely unbearable. But I try not to stop doing my video. It's every time I do a video, and if it's not upstairs, it's outside. It used to freak me out as well when I would put a jumper on without uploading a video to YouTube, and somebody would be in the exact same jumper or coats or trainers I was wearing. It used to freak me out. I've just got used to it now. If these gang stalkers or whatever they are want to copy my clothing and mimic me, that's their prerogative. They're not doing it in a manner which is flattering me either, because they put my clothes on men, old ladies, and take the piss. And anybody that knows about gang stalking and the tricks that these people pull will understand that mimicry is one of them. Mimicking you, but in a derogatory manner, not a nice manner. They cough. They it's not a cough as in a cold. It's a look at me. That kind of cough. It's like they want attention, you to stare at them, or sniffing up down a phone call. I used to have dates, and the chap on the end of the line would go, "Oh, how are you today, Crystal?" And then I would get into a taxi and the driver would start going. It's that kind of thing. I don't know what that's all about, but that's another irritating sign of gang stalking. Mimicking your phone calls. So if you're in a private conversation with a boyfriend or a friend, they mimic what you've said and take the piss out of it. If you go to your boyfriend, "I love you." Several times this has happened to me. I've gone down the high street and a couple of women have gone, "Oh, I love you." It used to happen in my previous block of flats. One of the neighbours went to her relative, I love you, but it's in a squeaky, taking the piss kind of thing, what you've been saying over the phone. That is a sign of gang stalking. It makes you feel paranoid, like they're listening into your conversations. When they wear it, they used to mimic me. My next door neighbour used to put the same t-shirts on me as me. So I would walk out with a camouflage jacket, and then it'd look like my neighbour was in the same jacket. It wouldn't be exactly the same, but it would be the same pattern. So mimicking me. Neighbours putting the same clothes on as myself. That is mimicry. And someone could mistake it for you, couldn't they? If they're wearing the exact same jacket or almost the same jacket, and they go and do something bad, look, then it looks like you've done it. So that's been going on for a long, long time. Not copying my clothing, but not in a nice way. Your voice, they mimic your voice. They mimic it, but everybody's got a unique voice, so they can't copy it completely. So they laugh. They try and mimic your voice. They try and control and manipulate. So when I have been, they read your notes online. I believe they've got access to my doctor's notes, so they know what's wrong with me and what causes pain, and that is bad. So all this banging and noise is literally being done on purpose, I believe. Because before I moved to this flat, and the dentist records as well, the dentist who hasn't treated my teeth properly, and I've still got a tooth with a root exposed, and every time this noise goes off I get kind of electric shocks in that tooth here. So I believe all this noise is actually being done on purpose to cause me pain. It's being done on purpose. Because I'm a strong woman and I know what their game is, and they know I know what their game is, that's why they try and ramp it up to stop me talking. I know what their game is. They've been doing it for years. They used to do it at my old flat. And there was drug users in there. There was heroin, cocaine users, ecstasy tablets being sold in that block of flats. The previous one I was living in, there was a guy selling ecstasy tablets. There was a guy smoking weed with his brother. And in the next block, one of the residents was inviting heroin users into the block of flats. Heroin. So there is drug use going on. In this block of flats, there's cannabis users. And I know cannabis is like all over the place, everywhere. But it's not nice if you're constantly walking through a smog of cannabis. Children have got to go to school, pets get affected. So trying to get me to sleep with somebody using drugs to cause you to feel high is going on in this block of flats. Right? I have told the government, I've told my housing, I've told social services I don't feel safe in this flat. I've still got no support, I've still got no help. So I have to shut my windows so the drug smell and the vape pipe smell don't come through the window. I can't stop what they're smoking in the communal corridors. So apart from wearing a face mask, I don't know what I can do about it. They don't seem to care about the fact there's children in this building at all. They just want to use me. I have got diaries worth of evidence going back to 2020. This isn't me being mad. I've got evidence. I've also got sound evidence, and nobody's interested. No, because they're hiding it and they just want to use me as a toy, as something to hunt and play with, like I'm their property, right? And I won't have it. I don't want, I'm a woman of a certain age. I can't have children. So you wouldn't believe what's going on. The sexual violence through messages, because they can't, you know, in my old flat, I would use online dating, and these men would manipulate me from online dating sites, right? Make out they was interested in me for a relationship, and it clearly wasn't the case, because when I met them, they started making sexual advances straight away. And this was including older men. When I dated back in 2015 and 16, I obviously was a woman. They came across as gay men. But even though they came across as gay men, some of them were quite aggressive in the way that they touched me. And obviously I was a woman dating men, but they came across as old gay men, some of them. So when I never slept with them. I'm just saying they came across as gay. So when I went on a date with them, you know, that they came across as gay old men, and then I just ended the date and went home. I don't know why that was happening. Why I was getting contact from what appeared to be gay old men. I don't know why. I just ended the dates and they went on their way. I also thought it was for pornography. It was acting. One of them mentioned Princess Diana in a conversation, and the book he was holding was called Buggered Up Britain. Buggered Up, and we all know what buggery is. And it had Princess Diana in the book that he was holding. And he'd come down from Scotland, apparently, this one chap. And he had this book called Buggered Up Britain, and Princess Diana was apparently one of the women that buggered up Britain. I gave up dating at my old flat because you shouldn't do that. These men were convincing me to bring them back to my flat, and a couple of times I did, and I was abused in my own flat, and I was on my own, and I had to get rid of these men that weren't interested in dating at all. They were using me and abusing me, and I realise that now. But because I was living in a block of flats that was full of drugs, every day I went out of my flat, I didn't know what time of day it was. I tried to get out of that flat for several years. My dad was still alive while I was being abused in that flat, and he was one of the men that abused me in my flat, my own father. Right. Once my dad passed away in 2021, obviously the control's gone. His control has gone over me, he's dead. But the online trolling, the violent sexual messages are still coming to my phone to this day. The pushing and pushing and pushing for photographs, getting angry over the phone when they don't get what they want. is still going on. I had a message the other day and they got aggressive when I wouldn't answer. Started losing their temper. So they're still doing it, but they can't use my father anymore. He's dead. Whether they're trying to influence my mother, who is now nearly 80, elderly, she's not well herself, I don't know. When I went up there last week, she still appeared to be acting crazy and doing the same things as when my dad was alive. Some of her speech was frightening, scary, manipulative, emotional, and it frightened me at times whilst I was round there with my mum. I went round to my mum's, because otherwise, I found myself in financial difficulty through no fault of my own, and I had to rely on my mum for some help. And this has been going on since my dad has died as well. Companies including Barclays Bank stopping my bank card and leaving me without access to my money. And then I have to go and ask people for help when I don't want to. So it's something happened through no fault of my own. And if I hadn't have gone up to my mum's, I wouldn't have, no harm would have come to me, but it would have been financially difficult. I do think I'm being manipulated. I do think this block of flats is unsafe. I do think Hyde Housing are not doing their job properly, but I don't think it's just them. There are loads of neglected dumps everywhere, aren't there? There's in London, the ghettos of London. This is what this is going to become like. I don't think it's just me. I'm not that selfish to believe that. I'm just explaining to you that there's loads of places that are being neglected. The cost of living is going up so high people can't afford to eat. I've said it before. So what are people going to do when they're hungry? Steal. And that gives the excuse for them to be locked up in prison. And I'm not being nasty and I'm not being horrible, but if people don't eat properly and they've got no roof over their head, they're going to die. In the cold, there's somebody on the field in a tent, living on the tent in Rochester on the field. It's freezing today. Freezing. That's one tent in Rochester. Up in London, the police and everywhere else, they're removing tents and moving homeless people on. It's harsh. It's harsh. When I lived in Chatham, some of the homeless died during the winter, lying on the streets. I've got a roof over my head. Yes, I'm warm. My mum knows something, I believe she does, but she's going to sit in her flat and not do anything about it. She's just going to sit there. No one comes to you. I've tried ringing for help myself with certain things and I don't get any. Sitting down's no one's going to come out. No one's going to do anything. I've been living like this for 5 years. I had a bit of respite for it when his kids moved in with his girlfriend, and now it's come back again. Constant thumping, and it's always when you're doing a video or you're trying to get to sleep, or you're taking a phone call, which I just find weird. Every time I'm speaking or doing something, it's like they're trying to train me to not speak, sit down, be quiet, and do as you're told. And no way is that going to happen. Even if I am not feeling too good, I'll lie down and do a video. I'm not going to stop speaking. Why should I? If you've got a voice, you use it. That's what it's there for. But I was silenced as a child. I was being abused as a child, and I was being silenced and abused. They're not doing it to me as an adult. No way are they doing it to me as an adult. They're just sick. These people are sexually warped. They're dirty, as in, not only as in filthy, but they are sexually degrading women and men. Manipulating, controlling. Free prostitution is going on in this country, and not just with adults, with children. Free prostitution. When I was a child, groomed from a young age. Groomed. They groom children from a young age, obviously. Max, it's outside. It's outside. They're sexual groomers. And I've been groomed since I was a kid, and I'm in my 50s now, and they're still trying to do it. And I believe that bloke that came up to me on the field was part of it. Part of it. And every time I've reported what happened to me to the police, they're not taking it seriously. They don't log anything. They don't do anything. I believe going to school was the same when I was a little child. Somebody copied my school coat. It's a form of manipulation, brainwashing and grooming. And I've undone myself from it. I know what they're doing. I'm not being groomed, sexually abused anymore. By anybody, a man or a woman, no one. Sometimes I do think these interactions with doctors at the hospital are of a sexual nature. When I've had breast scans and the women have all been made up, earrings, a nurse is supposed to be clean, not to spread germs, full of makeup, fancy earrings, like a top